Howdy, hey Earthlings, and welcome back to another video. We are jumping in with the second Let's Play for the Whimsy Stories Legacy Challenge for The Sims 4 with my founder sim, Generation 1 for Luna Grace. So we are just diving in, getting to know some of the residents whilst I just go over a little recap of some of last episode. So we had a little bit of a fail video. I tried to make sure that I filmed everything this time round, even the boring bits, so I can just cut and splice as I please, just so I could avoid a loss of footage. So that was the major kind of fail of last episode. I just had a lot of voiceover and not a lot of footage, so I thought, okay, let's just spawn into a lot where I can get a couple of things done, mooch about with some of the residents and kind of build up some relationships. So a little bit of a refresh on some of the actual legacy game goals. We've got find love while homeless, which is kind of what I'm doing here, just kind of building up relationships at the moment. Name all children after nature. Haven't even had children yet, not even thinking about that. Live in a suburban tiny home, which exciting, I'm about to start in today's video. Foster a healthy garden. Plant parent. 3 tattoos. Master fabrication, handiness and wellness. Be self-employed with the freelance simply crafted career, which I am, and rarely wear makeup. Love to dress casually, which we do. We're going to make some outfits that are quite casual and cute a little bit later on too. But let's dive back into what goals have been achieved. So as I say, I've got the freelancer fabrication kind of career on the go, so that's really helpful. I've sort of put a pause on that though whilst I kind of mooch about making some friends with some of the local town residents. So honestly, it feels like not a lot has happened, but in last episode I did end up doing some of the first fabrication, which was quite fun, quite interesting to learn a new tool for me, because as I say, I hadn't played with the eco lifestyle expansion pack until I decided to start this legacy challenge, like start playing this challenge. So there's a lot of new to me things, which is quite exciting to do for the first time. So what I'm really working on today, as I said briefly a portion ago, was just to kind of mooch about with some characters and kind of get a feel for who could be a potential love interest, maybe sort of get, I was going to say woo, but I don't mean like woohoo, but like woo a few potential partners at the same time, go on a couple of dates, that sort of thing. But in the back of my head, I thought I really need to get some outfits sorted, and I really need a nice little home to kind of, I don't know, come back and get busy in, if that's the case, and kind of get myself settled in that way. So it was time for Luna to get a little bit of a life upgrade. I think she got quite settled in her story. She was quite content that she, you know, really gave it a go with her tent living, and you know, kind of just, even though she did use her friends a little bit too much when it came to baths and hot foods and stuff, she did really kind of throw herself into the lifestyle of just living for herself and with what she could muster out of bins and such and all that. So now she's building on her relationships and her acquaintances, I guess you could say. I was quite gutted to see, I think I called him Milo, I want to say. No, is he Arlo, that's where I got the O part from. He's in a relationship with one of the occult characters that are NPCs, and I don't know, do I go in MCC command or whatever it's called and like just terminate that relationship, because that's something that blossomed on its own. I didn't set that up. I want him to be single. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm gonna have to sort of sort that out, because I want him to be a potential love interest. But yeah, Luna is stinking to high heaven right now. She really needs a bath, really needs to something, you know, spruced up. So I thought this kind of lot would be helpful for her, because it's got not a shower, sorry, it's got like a sink. So you can sort of brush her teeth a couple of times to kind of build up a little bit of that hygiene, wash her hands, that sort of thing. But yeah, there wasn't an awful lot going here, and I think that's when I was like, girl, she needs to get a home now. She needs to have her own little house sorted out. I see something sparking. I think, yes, I can fix that. However, I was careful to save because last time I tried to fix that, I simply perished. I perished to high heaven and died from electrocution. So I was like, actually, you know what? Let me try and figure out what kind of skill set I've got with my handiness at the minute. I thought I was far more advanced than I really am. I've not even hit level 1 in my handiness net yet. So I need to either do some reading, practicing safely, something like that, just to build that up. Because I think it's a good skill to have, right, for the fabrication, the master maker, all of that sort of stuff. But to not even have the level 1 threshold in handiness yet, I was like, you know what, we're just going to cancel this repair job because I know that it's going to be a doomed job. I'm going to end up dead yet again, and I'm so not ready for that. So we moved swiftly on here. I learned that lesson hard and fast. Okay, coming away from socializing a little bit now, I really want to focus on a couple more casual outfits. And just to warn you, I do have wicked whims and I do have some explicit CC. So look away now, I guess, if you are a bit uncomfortable with that, because you're going to definitely see some exposed bosoms in some of the content on the side. And yeah, I just don't end up blaring that out, so I do apologize. But yeah, I'm looking for something just really chill. I'm keeping in mind that Luna has this kind of easy going vibe, but I also am just trying out some of the outfits that I hadn't seen before, some of the outfits that came along with the eco living pack, and some content that I had downloaded and forgot about. So just seeing what looks cute. A lot of it is kind of styles that I wouldn't necessarily go for because I am a little bit maximalist, I would say, in my fashion sense. But I've got to remember that this isn't me, this is Luna, and she's all about chill, cozy, comfy clothing, minimalistic makeup, if any, and yeah, that's the vibe we're going for. So I'm going towards a lot of these kind of muted tones when it comes to the casual clothing. So a lot of browns and greens. I can't remember exactly the color palettes that I said she liked, but I'm pretty sure I didn't necessarily go out of my way to dislike anything, because I think that probably would have limited. I might have disliked like really boring colors, but here we are with some of the more boring colors. But I do really like this muted, like green, for example, like this teal kind of color, because it's just such a gorgeous shade, and I think it brings out her eyes as well, like the color in her eyes. This is a little bit, I guess you'd say, frumpy. It's a little bit baggy, but I do like shapeless wear for like a comfy vibe. When I think of comfy, cozy, casual clothing, I do think of shapeless clothing, something that you can easily move and run about in if you needed to. But then I also, on the other extreme end of that, think of like tight fitting leggings, jeans, and like a crop top, because that's so chill and it just works with everything. You can move around quite simply, maybe not with the skinny jeans, but like with leggings, for example. So that was the sort of vibe that I was thinking. And I think some of these like tops that I'm trying on, other than the booby ones underneath, were from like this athletic athleisure wear creator, which is on the screen. If I think it's probably on there as like a little copyright thing you can see. But anyway, yeah, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I thought a little crop top would be really cute for this outfit, because it's kind of rocker vibes, but also very chill, very simple. And actually, to be honest, it, you know, backtracking a little bit, it's something that I'd probably wear in real life, and my sims that are more like based off of me, probably what I'd put them into. But yeah, this is really casual and cozy, and I'm just looking forward to having more clothing options, because she was living in those dungarees and being such a stanky girl, not having like a shower around or any easy means to clean herself. Though I'm thinking in my head that those dungarees have probably gone past their sell by date. But I do like a full bodied outfit, and I couldn't pass on these like shorts dungarees. I'm gonna go back to them. There we go. They are just the cutest little thing. How adorable are they? So nice. And at the minute in the UK, I think in a lot of places at the minute as well, we've got this massive heat wave. Very fitting for the eco living, because hello climate change, am I right? So I thought something like this little jumpsuit playsuit sort of dungarees set would be really cute. And I really like this denim kind of blue vibe as well. This was so adorable. So yeah, quite happy with the 4 extra outfits I've just chucked in casual clothing category. And yeah, it'd be nice to kind of cycle through some of those now, especially when it comes to maybe like going on dates and just mooching about with friends. I did try to go to a lot with her best friend Momo earlier on, like the beginning of this video, but Momo was sleeping, so we went on our own, which is totally fine. Anyway, yeah, just messing around now, trying out some other funky color things before saving the clothing. Oh, I'm so excited. It is time to try the, I say quote unquote tiny build, because it's probably not going to be your, fit in the mold tiny build. And I am going to just say it now, I am shit at building. So the houses are going to be rubbish. I do have a little gander at the gallery to see if there are any tiny homes that could work nicely for this. And yeah, I didn't really luck out, to be honest. But yeah, I am using a money cheat because I'm pretty sure I read in the creators like content that you can use cheats for things like this. So yeah, I'm just mother loading, like maxing out my money just so I can build as much as I want to, really. So I'm not sort of stipulating that the rules are she has to have everything built from the money that she's earned. So but I'll probably, like, once I've built the tiny home, I will most likely after that completely put her back down to what her original like money was. I can't remember what I said. I was going to start off with like maybe 1,000 simoleons or something from her savings, and then that's when it's really going to start and she can properly start earning. She has done a couple of jobs, maybe like 1 or 2 fabrication jobs, and earned a little bit from that. But realistically, when you're thinking about it in real life, that's probably been spent now in just like everyday things goings on. So I'm going to pop her back to her original savings, maybe a little bit less later on whenever I remember. So yeah, having a little look at the tiny homes didn't really go to plan, so I ended up just bringing up some sort of floor plan ideas and just some pictures to see how people were styling tiny homes and creating them, because I really, when it comes to the vision of building a house in The Sims, I'm not very good whatsoever. I don't understand what tools do and what they mean, and yeah, I get a little bit confused, very much confused, shall we be honest. But nevertheless, like, I'm completely always in awe at what people can build in The Sims. Like, some of these houses are so cute. I kept having this error though where I couldn't favorite things, which was really annoying. So keeping some of this in so that I can go back to them at a later date, remember what they look like. And some of these packs, like, I wouldn't have anyway, so a lot of the stuff would most likely be missing because I don't have the packs associated with them. But yeah, just a window shop, I guess, at some of the houses that people have made, and it's just so inspiring. It's really, really cool. I do watch builds on YouTube, like speedrun builds, and I'm just in awe, especially the shorts. They're usually quite helpful because it's a little bit simpler. It's a little bit like cut down a bit more for people to like easily follow, I would say. But even still, I can't actually get my head around it. I like to pretend that, yeah, that makes sense, I get it now, and then I go to attempt things and it just does not go to plan. So you are going to see a lot of editing and going back, and yeah, we're going to speed this up for us though. So we're just going to put the tent and the recycler thing in the inventory, and then we're going to start off with actually building this thing. Oh, let's go. So this is what I mean when I'm like, tools, what do they do? What do they mean? Like, I need a visual guide, like a video of someone explaining them, but then that takes time. And then, so I thought, okay, let me just try things out and see what transpires from that. And then even still, I don't get what I'm doing. So there is a lot of just staring at the screen and thinking, okay, if I do this, will this happen? No. Should I change that? no. It just, yeah, it's a bit of a, a wishy-washy situation. I tried like just freestyling, which this is how I do it. If I ever do a build, I just do like random little rooms and attach them. But then I saw this top level and I was like, where the heck did this come from? What is going on? And I tried to move it around and it ended up just being on like the base floor, and I couldn't figure out how to raise that and bring it back up. So after doing all of this and thinking, yeah, actually that's a really nice floor plan, I was then under the impression that, oh my god, this floor plan is now all on like one level when that was supposed to be above. And that was my first time looking like below level in the basement. I was like, oh god, we are in the back rooms here, what's going on? So yeah, I ended up just scrapping that idea after not figuring out how to sort of raise it back up and thinking, okay, let's just try again, let's look at some inspiration. And a lot of people seem to have these kind of, you know, base 4 rooms on the ground level because it's supposed to be a tiny home, right? So keeping in that mentality, even if I'm not like sticking so to the rules, I'm keeping everything sort of ground level in that way. But also I really do like this kind of asymmetrical vibe with the rooms kind of sticking out a little bit more on one side and narrowing in a little bit more on the other side and giving it kind of this higgledy-piggledy look. That just looks so organic to me, and I really did like that. So I did enjoy kind of messing around a little bit more with the dimensions of the rooms and all that good stuff. So just a little bit of decorating on the outside. This is largely going to be like an outside decorating kind of vibe, you know, getting the foundations and the base levels all done and then decorating the exterior of the house. So I really liked, I think it's called Storybook or something like that, in terms of what the panels are called for the outside of the house. And I did end up changing it to like a bluish kind of shade, which was so pretty, like a duck egg blue, which is one of my favorite shades. Also thought, maybe they have cool doors on here, but I guess doors is not something that is created. I don't know why I figured, so I decided to continue looking at sort of NPCs and favoriting them, which it let me do a couple of times, and then I think I got that error again. But anyway, yeah, just going over and add in bits that I realized I missed, then realized it was the wrong color, so I've gone back for that duck egg blue. And I really like the kind of border around it, that dark brown kind of color against the blue looks really pretty to me. And of course we're going for a door. I wanted something simple but also with a nice little color that helps everything pop and blend in. And then I wanted to try and do like a raised level again, so I thought, oh, maybe a nice little step up onto the door could work. I reckon, and I forgot to put this in at like during this video, but I reckon I'll probably need like a little step for that, otherwise she's not going to be able to get in and out, I think. Also realized later on that I trapped her inside the house, so there's that. But adding windows galore, because I thought, oh, we need as much bright light, natural light as anything, because she's probably not going to want to be using all these like artificial lights and things like that. And decoration just was crazy for me, the outside. I just wanted to make it covered in nature, like nature is reclaiming this home and we are not mad about it. I know ivy kind of sometimes destroys the integrity of a house, but this house, that doesn't happen. It's just a beautiful addition, natural, very green and vibrant and beautiful. So I used some different plants from like the vampire pack as well as the eco living pack, and I think cottage core stuff I can't remember, but you can see them on the screen anyway. And yeah, I really like how it was turning out. It was becoming very much like overgrown by nature, and that is what I love. I did something similar actually for my D&D play with my character called Rowan, which I'm not gonna lie, I've completely neglected that character and that idea, but it's still there. It's still a process should I ever want to go back to it. But that was the house I sort of had, and I've spent a lot of time like editing it. I think I did just like download some CC in a house form, and then I edited it like loads of stuff on it and just did like a lot of fun things. And then the game crashed and I lost all of it, and I think that's when I kind of just dipped out of that playthrough. But yeah, back to this, it's giving me that sort of vibe, and I'm really happy that it's looking like so embedded with nature, especially when you're looking on the surround sounds of Harbour Falls, whatever this place is called. I can't remember what this town's called, but just look how awful and grey and smoky it is, and it's just not the life that any of these eco-living people, individuals want to be living in, right? So if we can get a little bit of nature in there where we can, it's a win for everyone. So yeah, I think it's really beautiful, and it's going to make a lovely little home to hopefully grow this family in when that starts happening. Working on this basement level, again, this was my first time ever really doing this, and I'm not really planning to make anything with it right now. I just kind of wanted it there, but then I realized, hold on a minute, it's like messed up the terrain, so I had to look into why that does that and smooth it out by lowering the level of the basement until that's smoothed out as much as possible. So yeah, I just kind of wanted that, I don't know, really, just in case something was helpful, we could have like more families move in, like with a communion kind of thing, maybe vibing with a cult vibe, you know what I mean, vibes. But yeah, I thought that could be beneficial at some point, or even we could have like the like washing machines, cleaning stuff, things like that down there. Haven't really thought that through so much, but it could be useful at a later date. Just not really planning on doing anything much with it right now, other than just creating the space, really. So getting some gorgeous greenery up on the roof, a little bit of a roof accessory and some chimneys, and just creating this, like, I don't know, post-apocalyptic but fresh green atmosphere, which is what I'm all after, all about for this build. So I just want like mossy wild grasses all on top. Don't know if that would actually be a thing that grew all together, but in this gameplay it definitely does. Finally like worked on this top section of the house and got it like short and squat like how I wanted it, but without it pushing down into the like main level of the house. So that worked out really nicely. I don't know if there's a way to change the color of that, like, I don't even know what you'd call it, like shipping container section, but hey ho, it's nice, it's a bit vibrant, it's bright, but I kind of wanted to change it, and not too fast to be honest. But yeah, and then we're going to work a little bit more on adding just some texture and grassy green colors and necessities like a chimney, that sort of thing, to the roof, the structure, and then working on laying down some plants and grass terrain onto the rest of the naked space, really. Really wanting to get that shadow kind of, I was going to say shadow play, that sounds a little bit weird, but I wanted that darker tone where the light is kind of hidden, where it's in the shadow, where the house is overhanging and where like the trees are kind of overhanging, and then have the more vibrant like pops of color with like the speckled flowers in the more light filled areas, because I felt like that would look really nice and be a little bit more realistic as well. And yeah, really just the last finishing touches of the exterior of this house. We are just adding in some extra little bits of like wallpapering to the outside that I might have missed, or when I put things in after doing the wallpapering, maybe adding a couple of bits here and there. And then very lastly, going inside and adding some doors, because this girl cannot leave this room. So we are doing that real quickly, showing a little bit a couple of times around the outside of the house, and then calling it a day. So thank you so much for watching today's episode of the Whimsy Stories Legacy Challenge with Luna Grace. I feel like we got a lot of stuff completed today, and yeah, it was more of a successful let's play run, which was really nice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Bye.